Hey, what's up, everybody? It is June 12th. So let's dig into a little bit of what happened on this day in history. Some interesting stuff and some cool birthdays today. In 1977, we're going to start off with the Son of Sam killer, David Berkowitz. He was sentenced to 25 years to life for the murders in New York. In 1981, one of the greatest movies of all time, Raiders of the Lost Ark, was released in theaters. And in 1985, the U.S. House of Representatives approves $27 million in aid to the Nicaraguan Contras. Now, here's the thing. A little bit of history here. Eventually, Congress is going to stop the aid to the Contras. Okay, in Nicaragua, the Contras are fighting the communist Sandinistas and trying to, take back control of the government. We've been aiding the Contras for a few years. Now, Congress is eventually going to say, okay, we're cutting off the aid after we send something like $300 million their way. That doesn't stop us from continuing the aid. In fact, we did it illegally. This is where the Iran-Contra affair comes into play. Now, we wind up selling weapons illegally to the Khomeini government of Iran through some back channels and whatnot. They were under an arms embargo, meaning we couldn't sell them any weapons. But we did it anyway. Then we illegally funded some of those proceeds to the Contras in Nicaragua after Congress said no more funding. So this was a huge scandal in the 1980s. Ronald Reagan was president during the time. He was never proven to be a part of it or anything like that, although, come on, I'm pretty sure he knew what was going on. Oliver North is going to wind up taking the fall for everything. Pretty much everybody gets either pardoned by George H.W. Bush, who's going to become president after Reagan, or in return for their testimony, really against Oliver North, I guess, they're going to receive immunity. So really the big one that goes to jail is Ollie North. Of course, he's doing okay now. I believe he still has his own television show. But anyway, Iran-Contra affair. Interesting little scandal back in the 80s. In 1987, speaking of Ronald Reagan, speaking about the Berlin Wall, he stood in front of the Brandenburg Gate and gave one of his most famous speeches where he says at the end, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." I can't do a good Reagan, but it's one of my favorite speeches. A couple years later, November 89, the wall comes down. And Reagan played such a huge part in bringing down the Soviet Union. So anyway, speech at the Brandenburg Gate about the Berlin Wall. Born on this day, George H.W. Bush, number 41, was president from 89 to 93. And he was born in 1924, FYI. And in 1929, Anne Frank was born. She would only live to be the age of 15, becoming one of the millions that were victimized during the Holocaust. If you haven't read her diary, it's an absolute must read. So that's it for today, June 12th. Hope y'all have an amazing day. Love you, and bye.